Hello.
Salut!
Ahoy.
Hola!
Welcome to Sound of Mobility, a project funded by Erasmus Plus and the European Union through the French National Agency, where we will help you explore travel opportunities for young people.
With the help of ESN Spain, Rural Youth Europe, ESN France, European Dialogue and Jedong.
Keep listening to gain skills and get inspired to go abroad.
Hello everyone, my name is Jana and I'm here at the Rural Youth Europe study session about rural youth advocacy in Budapest, and I'm representing Latvian 4H, and today we are here with Matias, so please can you introduce yourself?
Okay, good morning. My name is Matias. I'm coming from Spain, part of a regional youth organization working in rural areas. And I'm also part of the Advisory Council on Youth of the Council of Europe, and that's why I'm here in this amazing study session of Rural Youth Europe.
Yesterday you were the guest at your session, so how did you find the session? What was the most interesting part? What did you like? How was it in total?
What I like the most is actually to see so many participants coming from so many different regions around Europe, and to see that they are willing to be part of the decision-making process. And what I was trying to share with them is that even though I'm part of the Advisory Council on Youth, that we are advising the Committee of Ministers on Youth Policies, it shouldn't be that formal. It shouldn't be that difficult that we are part of these processes. So as we are all coming tomorrow, we will come back to our villages and we know what is happening in our local realities. I think what we need to do is the same as people are doing with education, that we move to non-formal education. We might need to approach politics and decision-making process in a non-formal way. And I think this is what I was transmitting them, that we should all be together and everyone has the right to be in the table, and that's what we are fighting for.
Perfect. So I see that rural advocacy is really important to you. Why is that?
I mean, young people, because I think it's the smartest way to do rural development. I think there are plenty of policy papers saying that rural youth should stay in the communities where they live, or that urban people should move to rural areas. But we are always asking a very simple question: is how are you going to make policy papers about youth without involving youth, or in this case, rural youth? So it should be easy that when we are talking about youth policies, that we are involving young people. And now we need that our communities get developed and that they get better access for young people to stay in their communities.
Perfect. So from your opinion, how do you think, on what level has rural advocacy developed? What maybe they still need some changes, as you said, about the youth part?
I had the honor to be part of the drafting group of the Rural Youth Recommendation, and along with Eva Kotnik, she is representing Rural Youth Europe, and I think we made a great team together. And we were very proud that this recommendation is saying that we need tailor-made policies. So we cannot approach the same rural regions in North Spain than the ones in Azerbaijan, for example, or the ones in Italy or in Norway. So rural development it's development in a non-equal way around Europe. And I think that's why it's important that we set up our priorities in our communities. So then when we are talking about rural development, we can say, oh, in these municipalities, we need public transport. In other places, what we need is roads. In other places, we need more education. So it depends on where are our communities. And I think we are setting up here the base to see where we should go farther in rural development.
Yeah. So as I see, it still needs development. So as talking from a youth perspective, maybe you can share what are the tools for advocacy that youth can use
to be young people. So I think many times we try to be adults and then we make things very seriously. but then we are losing many of our friends, many of our colleagues in our communities. So I think young people and rural young people should be proud of who they are, where they live, and that they have the right to speak. And I think I believe that in our communities we have also an opportunity, because many times the mayor it's also our neighbor. So the way we can approach our decision makers, it could be in a more personal way than people in urban areas. So first, the personal approach. In our organization, we are having this school of rural activists, and we are also training them in many ways to advocacy. But we are also pointing out that those are tools to improve our rural development, and inside those tools there is also protest, there is also public advocacy. So we are joining and gathering many rural young people from our region and then telling them that they have the right to also go to the streets, as we saw with the farmers protest, and claim their rights. So this is another opportunity that we have to. We are not so many young people in rural areas, but if we gather, if we join an association and then we move to the multi-level till Rural Youth Europe, I think we will succeed. Maybe not tomorrow, but it's a long process. Yeah.
Yes, and I totally agree with you that youth just needs to be themselves. We have the chance to improve our rural areas. Just please don't be afraid to do it. So, moving a little bit away from the youth advocacy, you're a member of the advisory council, and it's understandable that you need to travel a lot to other European countries. And as a rural person, I understand that it's not always really easy to travel and just have access to everything. So, my question to you is, what's your experience in traveling to European mobilities, other projects?
You need the car. There is no way to travel without car. Even if we are, this is one of our first priorities to improve the public transportation in rural areas. But if I have no car, I cannot move from my small village to the airport or to the biggest cities. And I think it's something that we need to speak. I'm very glad that Read is pointing this out, because we are having a lot of projects. Today we are starting a project on generational renewal in farming, and we go to Villablino, to the beautiful county of Jaciana, and we need cars. There is no even a bus that could bring participants there, and I think this is something that many people don't see, because majority of young people are living now in urban areas, and I think that's the pity. I think we should move and make more projects in rural areas so that everyone can have empathy with us, like how hard it is to move from a place. And then I had another thing, like when we are doing Erasmus Plus project, you have this distance calculator, Erasmus, blah blah blah, and then it might be that participant is 21 kilometers away from the venue, but in order to reach the venue, she needs to move to one city to another one and then cross, and then it's like maybe 4 hours traveling. So in papers, it's a short distance, but in reality, our reality is that it's very complicated.
I want to say thank you for joining this podcast, and maybe in the final, you can tell maybe some advice to youth, not only the youth advocacy, maybe even the traveling and going to projects.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be with you, and I think I will give these three tips or three topics that I was speaking yesterday in the study session. One is we need to be honest with our communities. We need to be honest with our neighbors when we are taking part in these advocacy plans. Second, we need to be responsible, and we have a responsibility because there are not many young people who are willing to take part in this decision-making process. So if we are there, we need to be responsible. And third, that this is all about democracy. And it's more than voting 4 years. It is of having an active role in our communities. We have the right, we will have the means soon, and then we have the support. And that is what Rural Youth Europe is doing, giving support, and that's what we believe, to so many rural youth people across Europe. And I think we should visibilize this. And so yeah, the fourth thing is a big thank you for all the work you're doing and for the support that you are all giving to us.
Yes, thank you very much for this interview.
A pleasure. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you for listening. We believe you enjoyed the episode. So make sure you subscribe. Here's a taste of our next adventure.
All of this is possible with European mobility programs, but some people might lack information about it, or they often think of big and scary obstacles.
Visa problems, because in many embassies, unfortunately, we still don't have many chances to get appointment days.
The other issue, I think it's a proper dissemination, like organizations trying to find ways of marketing their mobilities.
We are glad that you're traveling with us.
Have a nice trip with Son of Mobility.
Disclaimer. Views and opinions expressed are however those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or the European Education and Culture Executive Agency. Neither the European Union nor the European Education and Culture Executive Agency can be held responsible for them.